Hello, me again. So after the last episode, which was a really long one, so I apologise about that. I could probably speed bits up and whatnot, but I think the starter motor is the issue. So I was getting ignition and all this sort of thing, but it wasn't ticking over. It suddenly didn't sound like it wanted to come out and to spin the engine. So I've done some tests on the electrics, and there's power going to it, to the starter motor. So I think it's a case of the starter motor is probably stuck. So I'm going to take it out and just have a play around with it on the bench. So yeah, and just see if I can get it working on the bench. Hopefully that's all it'll be. So yeah, that's what I'll do. Yeah, so where I need to be is down there. So there's your starter motor. So it's 3 bolts holding it on, and a few electrical bits there, just see through the gap of them wires, just to take it out. So I'll crack on with that and then get it on the bench and see what we can do with it from there. So got the start motor on the bench. I've very crudely rigged it up to a battery, just with a few wires and a few spades. And now, by me, I'll test it. I need that up there. See if it works. Oh, okay. I think. That works. So let me just put a connection on this, just to make it a bit easier. Right. Oh, no, long one. So if the starter motor is working, when I put power to it, that's saying to me there's a different issue in the car, wiring or earth or something, but let's give it a go. I think that's working. Maybe I've freed it off by doing a bench test. Will it work if I just put it back in, or will there be other issues in the car? Other wiring connections and stuff. Could be lucky, could just need a clean up of connections and nothing more, but no, I'm happy with that. At least we don't have to buy something else or whatever, so very happy with that. So I'll get it back in the car and just see if it works then. I didn't record getting it out, and I won't record putting it in just because there's like no space for me and you in there. So cool, right, let's crack on. Okay, I've been having a play around with things. I put the starter motor back in the car, but when I turn the key, still nothing. But when I jump it, like I did on the workbench, whilst it's in the car, it tries to turn. My battery's a bit low on juice, so it wasn't kickstarting the engine, but it was certainly kickstarting the starter motor itself anyway, but it just wasn't enough power to sort of turn the engine. So yeah, I can it works if it jumps it, but it won't work on the key. So if you have any advice of what I should be looking for there, I suppose it's just checking connections, earthing, wiring, that kind of stuff. But if there's something a lot more obvious that I'm not thinking of or aware of, yeah, that's where I'm at the moment. So I'm just letting the battery charge up at the moment. Just hooked up there that way. Just hooked up there to a charger. And like I say, I've been testing with the voltmeter there at various points, and there is voltage down there and stuff. There's power to it. Like I say, just won't start on the key without me jumping it with my little jumping wire there. But that's where I'm at the moment, so I'm just letting the battery charge up. Could take a while. I'm just going to leave it because it's a bit flat, and then yeah, hopefully continue next time. Right then, I've been having some real issues with the battery. I think it's on its last legs, and also my battery charger is also on its last legs. So it's been a bit of a challenge trying to get it charged up. So a few days ago I put it in the Capri, managed to get it charged up enough for it to start, so I charged the battery up that way. I thought I'll do the same again, and it just clicks. So when I'm turning the key on the Capri, it just goes click and nothing else. But I think there's enough charge in it to do something with a Calypso. I've just been doing a few odd jobs on it, so just to make sure the fuel line's all clear, down the fuel line, back to the, disconnected it at the tank, and it's blown through, so it's clear. Again, I poured a bit of fuel into the fuel pump. I'm hoping the fuel pump works. I poured some fuel in the float chamber on the carburettor as well, because I have no idea if the carburettor will work either. So just a bit of trial and error, but I might just give it a crank and just see if it starts, see what it does. So yeah, so I'll position you so you can see it properly, and yeah, hopefully get some out of it. Like I say, don't know how many cranks I'll get out of it just because of the battery. I'll try just keep charging it back up again and putting it back on. I really hope that would work. I don't know why it's playing up. Like I say, it can't be the start motor now. It was only running a few days ago, fine. But yeah, so we'll crack on with that. I'll put you in a better position, and yeah, let's see if it starts. Right, I think you're in position. Yeah, right, let's give it a crank and see what happens. Fingers crossed there, fingers crossed. So it turns, which is good. I put my foot on the accelerator, if I can reach it. Don't have a lot of room. Do I have a bar? A bar or something? As you can hear, the battery's already starting to go. I might just check for spark while the fan's in. No fuel's been sucked up yet. I was hoping it would just start up on the fuel that was in the float chamber in the carburettor. There's nothing in the fuel filter. Yeah, I'll see if we've got a spark. not getting a spark. That's the issue. Sparking. Maybe that's the problem. Maybe that is the problem. Where's the voltmeter? I've got volts on that, on the coil, the ignition coil going to the cap. I might just try some, I might just put the old cap back on. 2 seconds. Swap these guys over. Bit of the old one still in there. Right. The battery is dying. Right, I've still got some fault finding to do then. Bear with me. Okay, catching up again. So I've been doing a lot of fault finding recently. I couldn't get the spark on the plugs, so I've been using the multimeter a lot, trying to trace wires and all this kind of stuff, because the issue I was getting, which I'll show you, was so I was getting no spark at the plugs, but I was getting healthy voltages on the ignition coil, on the distributor, the condenser, the contacts in the points, and I just couldn't understand why. So I did a lot of talking to people on the internet forums and things. And one of the guys said, why don't you try putting the spark plug on the end of this HT lead, comes from the ignition coil to the distributor, just as like to test that. And so I did. I put it on and I thought, oh, that seems a bit loose. Like the contacts in the HT lead, so I just nipped it up with a pair of pliers a bit just to make it a bit tighter. And I got spark, so I thought, alright, great. I put the spark plug back on the end of where it should be on its HT lead, and I got spark, which I couldn't believe. And then I turned it over, and we have good news. It does run. All because of just a bit of a loose contact. So I spent the last week, it's only been, I don't know, what, 20 minutes for you or something, trying to find this fault, thinking it was something much more sinister, the ignition coil's faulty, I was this close to buying a new one and stuff, and yeah, that's all it was all along. So should we give it a start so you guys can see it? I'll set these up so you can see it properly. Yeah, we'll do that. Right then, are you ready? Ignition lights, let's give it a turn. After 14 years, it finally runs. And how sweet is that? It runs beautifully. It's amazing. I've only put fuel in the float chamber of the carburettor, so it probably will die. Probably there's enough fuel in the tank for it to pull through, but there you have it. Months of work. Nearly a few hours to you have led to this moment, so I'm absolutely chuffed to bits. 14 years. Come on. Sweet as a nut. I'm still ready to keep running to see how long it lasts. But if you've been watching and you've been on this little journey with me, thank you. I want to say something cringy right now. Please like and subscribe. I just made myself a bit sick there. Sharing stuff like this with other people, I think it's a good thing. It can only be a good thing with like-minded people. So like the next stages for this is welding, which I've never done before, but we'll give it a go and try and get this somewhere roadworthy. And go from there really, but yeah, here it is. The Pinto lives. Yeah, there we are. Oh yes, it's finally pulled fuel up though. That's good. It's finally pulled fuel through the tank. So, tell you what, I'll give it a few more turns, see if it'll keep going off the tank. Oh, where were you? You were about there, weren't you? I didn't think there was enough fuel in the tank for it to pull through. I imagine it'll run a bit rough because, well, there you go. There was obviously some fuel left in the tank from many years ago. I've probably put about 7 litres of fresh stuff in, if that. Yeah, so it's probably just a mix of bad fuel and stuff. I've got a bit more fuel left, I can put that in just to further dilute it and hopefully get things going, but give it another go. My accelerator stick. Woo! Bit of a backfire there. A few little backfires there, but not what we're worried about. When it idles, it's sat at about 750, which is good, so I think it's definitely getting fuel through, like I say, it's bad fuel in there. Might shove some more fuel in, but why not? Why not? Boom, 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 boom. Feels like there's about half a canister in here, so. You can really smell like the bad fuel. Rather than like draining the tank and stuff, I think I'll just keep, when I'm nipping out, I'll just buy a few more jerry cans of fuel and just top it up and dilute it through and stuff. You can see the fuel's probably not the best colour in there, but nah, over the moon, absolutely buzzing with that, really am. Where have I put you there? people have said as well when I was speaking to the forums online to get rid of the VV carb. What's the full name? Variable valve, is it, or something like that? Variable Venturi, sorry. Apparently they just don't work properly, you know, this kind of thing. But I've never actually had any bother myself with them. Excellent. Like I say, thanks for watching, and please like and subscribe, and we'll get some more videos and more content and more mishaps, and yeah, hopefully that was entertaining for you somewhat, and hopefully not a waste of your time, which it probably was. But yeah, on to the next.